what Ye did, he changed gears from using sexuality to make money to using his creative gifts to praise God, which is something that was not good for branding. Because those companies, they don't see faith as something they can sell. It's not fashionable. The companies themselves can't sell that. He's redirecting the attention of his audience from that mode of gaining the relics or the mementos of interaction with him, to suddenly saying, no, now we're all in that mission together. It's not a show. Remember you said it last week. We're a mission, not a show. It's no longer a show. We're no longer at Britney Spears with her legs spread in Vegas. We're now all in this together. This is now the point at which the audience and the performer are directing their attention to a different source, different place.
Which works well with this picture, because one of the interesting things about it is behind him is a man with a camera. And then we become, remember, so what I said, the filmmaker that I met in Lisbon was talking about how when the actors are behind all those cameras, they are surrounded by tech. If you ever see a picture of a film crew working, right? The lights, because otherwise, I mean, it's interesting how many lights you have to make it not look completely dark. And you have all the tech guys worrying about the electricity and the camera and the set and one of the members of my family once worked as a script supervisor. So, someone's sitting there making sure the director doesn't miss out a piece of the script that they're supposed to be filming on that scene. And then you're having a pretend sex scene. It's like, to be able to do that takes a degree of talent that you're able to, like, I know tiny bit about, that kind of teeny weeny bit about that kind of pressure, just fencing in a competition with people watching you while you're fence, right? And you do get to a point. I remember quite distinctly the time when I suddenly was able to not be nervous about what people were seeing and could just be in the action and do it. But to be able to abstract yourself that much into the character that you're performing as an actor must be intense. And then, the pornography, as far as I understand, it destroys people. So you've had to so empty your soul so that other people can watch your body is intense. And then we suddenly find ourselves on camera all the time, because there's the cameraman behind Ye's shoulder looking at the cameraman who's taking this picture. It's very interesting how you always, we've set this up, our little live stream, so that you forget that we're on camera, because if we do the lights correctly, if we do our camera angles correctly, we create this illusion of talking to you directly, and it's all illusion.
Hall of mirrors.
Yes.
And flashing lights.
So this is what, one of the interesting things that I noticed at Fatima while I was there for Mass is they had cameras in the pulpits. And these guys, there are two of them, one on each side of the nave, filming. One's filming the altar. I can show you that, which is kind of disturbing if you see this one, because he's like shooting the altar. Okay, they're actually, I took these photos actually this is at Mass. They stopped filming when the priest was giving a sermon, which was a very good sermon, by the way. But they were like the one that I'm showing now. It looks like it could have a gun on. It's like
the
whole bazooka camera, right? And so he's and if you notice, camera guys like this. I think I was probably the only one in the service mass, I'm still taught Protestant, the service, who notice these men because they're in black. We have this kind of blot them out sort of practice, right? You don't see the cameraman because you're not supposed to watch him. You've been at a wedding and the camera person is getting in everybody's face and he's right there in the middle, right where they're kissing, right? And everybody's focused on the bride and the groom, and you forget that there's this other actor in the stage who is taking the picture that you were then going to look at and say, oh, that was so beautiful, and immediate. And yet one of the cameramen in this, sometimes he was filming us, right? So I take a picture of him filming us. I say, what's going on here? What, but this is a mission, not a show. You're in the show. You're part of the show in this devotional moment.
So, well, that explains why people freak out when they're potentially able to be contacted by all of these big people on Twitter or on the other social media. It's like, oh my God, I can see the cameraman. Oh shit, he's adding me, or like
I don't think they see the cameraman. I think the camera is still somehow outside of people's awareness. They have the illusion of
audience, and then the performer. Distinction has dissolved.
Right.
It's dissolved. And then you're on stage with them. It's like, haha, surprise! You think, what? I wasn't prepared for this. It's like the whole world suddenly entered a reality television show.
This is why,
oh, no.
In fact, so I have actually also met Nick Fuentes, and I talked to him directly about streaming and, sort of McLuhan moment about what that meant. And one, he was definitely smart enough to understand what I was saying very quickly. And two, realizing that all of us are in this stream now. I mean, our ark is sailing around and looking at things, but we are not. Maybe this is my, I don't get to just be on this stream talking to you. I'm friends with Milo. I've met Nick. I have aspirations to meet other people. That would be cool. And the degree to which they're out there and we're here, and then yet the problem of, I don't want to, have that sensation of being, answerable to absolutely everybody who watches our streams. And you can think, we can be because we have a small audience so far, very intimate. But
niche.
What niche? Boutique. A boutique audience. We love you all very much. Thank you for watching. Talitha Kuum says, what do you mean you're not talking to us directly? Aha, see the illusion. But the what do you do when you've got the level of attention that someone like Brittany or someone like Ye or someone like Milo is being thrown at you? It's like, never mind. We've gone back to this before. It's like, this is this devotional problem that particularly Protestants like saying, you can't throw that at Mary. One, she can't take it because she's not divine, and two, she won't respond.
Well, she took God's attention.
Well, she got God's attention. She got God's attention. Which is
she had his attention exclusively for how many,
Oh, indeed she did, and now she gets to stand under his cross. So here's the priest giving his sermon, which I realized I really should have taken notes off of, but it was in Portuguese, and my friend was translating for me. Oh golly, I should remember even what the lesson was on. And he's standing under the most perfect representation of the brazen serpent I think I've ever seen, because the cross is ludicrously tall, right? So Christ lifted up for us, with Mary in the guise of Our Lady of Fatima underneath it. So they're kind of incongruous because the two statues don't really go together very well. But are we looking at him speaking, or are we looking at these devotional images that are, and they're kind of to the side of the altar, so it's not really even the center line of the building. When we are looking at Christ or Our Lady, how like or unlike looking at Ye or Brittany is this practice?
Mm. I have thoughts. It's about the merging of the church and the world. Now we're doing it on the internet. Because for a very long time, we had this strange distinction in Western culture that there was a distinction. Previously, there was not a distinction, right? Christendom. Now, isn't it interesting that one of the world's most famous men makes an album about the Lord, and now he's pivoting his entire existence into what he has announced as a Christian mission? Shockingly, I saw someone saying something like this a while back on the internet. They said he thinks he's Constantine. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not true. But isn't it interesting that this is a terrifying thing for everybody? Because suddenly they have to think, hold on, are we in an era in which saints are created before our very eyes?
Well, yes, because they have been.
They have been, but not in the sense of like celebrity culture being involved in that process. You know, it's like, it's filthy Hollywood. This is a distinct thing. This is like the worst of secular culture. It's like, this is Jesus has no place in Hollywood. There's not going to be anyone there that's going to end up on the roll call in the sacred red carpet. And yet it's like, no, we're going to smash this now. The world still belongs to Christ, despite the status of whomever he is calling. Even in this manufactured Devil Wears Prada priestly illusion factory. Even there, the brazen serpent is present. It's the it's life in the ultralight beams. Like, yeah, one of Ye's shirts. Ultralight beam, it's a God dream. But he
does come up with very good phrases.
He does.
And I am convinced that he's a fellow poet. We got to meet him, because got to, throw stuff at him and see what he says. That he does it live on camera. So I'm persuaded it's him rather than somebody else writing for him, right? And he's playing, it's like that one of them he's talking about, we need to upgrade. We need to find ourselves united. We need to see who we are now. I mean, Christ is inviting us to the upgrade, and I do hear Ye talking about that. And Milo is obviously, he's talked about it all along. That's why I became friends with him, because he was always, always, always talking about Christ. And people couldn't hear it because they were obsessed with the sunglasses. And maybe, I mean, it's like the reflectiveness of that beautiful prayer that he wrote is, I want to be like you so that I can burn with love for you, so that others seeing me burn with love for you will burn with love as well. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful prayer.
The eros to God is agape to mankind.
One day, we're going to get to do a stream in which we're in the same room together.
I know, isn't that going to be amazing?
That's
now that'll be fascinating, because we're going to burst this bubble of illusion that we're staring at each other through the camera.
Indeed.